What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot and Friends. Justin here, and how you feeling? I hope you're feeling intuitive. The moon is in Pisces, and the emotions are flowing. We actually have a lot of intuitive energy going on here because we're going to talk about a planetary ingress that's going on too here as well. Just a little side news there. But before we get into that, if you are new here, again, welcome. My name is Justin, and know that when you come across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is also a place for you if you happen to have Cancer in your placement. Sun, moon, rising, maybe Jupiter, wherever. This one's for you. Or if you just want to set intentions with the moon, you're always welcome into this space. And I do tarot card spreads based on our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in. I've been really working with the moon here recently. Well, I mean, never mind. But I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, which she's going to point, of course, there's all those lunar shenanigans. And just so y'all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Yes, because the energy's feeling fresh. It's feeling something's moving. But depending on when you're watching this, actually, I'm going to shuffle your cards here too. Happy Sunday. The sun is associated with Sundays. Weird. And when we're talking about Sundays, I find that this is a great time to do things that can just really just build your light up. You know, anything that taps into that inner light. Pay attention to any sort of like inspirations and things that may come up as well. But Sundays can be great for just checking your vitality, your health, and even like I find during sun hours and things, if you need to schedule an appointment for anything, maybe try scheduling them around like a sun hour or something along those lines. What I also like to, or even Sundays too, Sundays or the sun hours can be great for doing like presentations or anything along those lines, something to really help you stand out, shine bright. And I also like to, as well, when we're working with these days, to think about your relationship with your sun placement. What house is it in? Thank you, Spirit. What house is it in? What sign is it in? And yeah, what aspects are forming with it? And yeah, just to see how that inner light, that divine guidance is helping guide you through your journey here. So just some things to think about when we're working with Sunday. But also on this day, Mercury is going to be moving into the strong intuitive waters of Scorpio, and this is going to be happening at 12:23 p.m. and that's going to be Pacific time. And when we're talking about Mercury and Scorpio, Scorpio is the fixed water sign, and their gender is feminine. There's a receptivity that goes with Scorpio, and their ruler traditionally is Mars. And I find with Mercury being our planet of communication, understanding, practical knowledge, things along those lines, there's a real chance for just like deep intuitive understanding, just like emotional understanding as well. This could be a time where you're just noticing the undercurrents of you, noticing that there are just exploring a different depth to yourself, I find with Scorpio. And if you're wanting, I'm not going to get too much into this, but if you want to get a little bit more information on my other channel, Alchemist 8, during the weekly videos, I talk all about this transit in more depth. So definitely check that out. But let's get into the lunar shenanigans, because I like that we're going to be in all this water energy, because on the 13th of October, the moon is going to be entering into Pisces at about 12:55 p.m. and that's going to begin, that's Pacific time, and she's in a waxing gibbous phase. Now, the waxing gibbous is a time of organization, of integration, and of planning. You've set actions during that first quarter moon, and now let's say you started a workout routine. It's like, ooh, I really like that, or I liked how that felt. It's like, okay, now how can I work this in with my schedule? What things do I need to move around in order to make that work? Or maybe you decided to take something with like a career shift, and it's like, okay, I want to balance this course that I'm taking while I'm also doing this stuff with, maybe you got like kids that you're trying to, that keep up with their schedule. So whatever this intention that you're working out with, the gibbous is getting more insights as far as like how to get this stuff in motion. This is like an adjustment period right now. But more specifically, when we're talking about Pisces energy, Their ruler is Big Papa, Jupiter, and then in traditional astrology. And their modality is the mutable energy, that shifting energy. Their element is water, that's that intuitive, emotional, psychic energy. And then their gender is feminine. So again, that receptive energy that's going on. And I like when the moon is here. This could be where, especially with how Mercury and the moon are in these water signs, if there have been certain things that you've been maybe fixated on as of late, when we're talking about with Scorpio, this moon can help you nurture those emotions along to treat yourself with more compassion and understanding for maybe these are some things that you've been absorbing in your environment, some things that you've taken on, maybe other people have been, yeah, just kind of, and not intentionally, but maybe they've been feeling some type of things which have been building up things in you that are just not yours, and but you've taken them on. So I find when the moon is in Pisces, this can be a great time to just really help sift through those waters, to help calm if there's been a storm in the sea that is you, to kind of go below the what's going on the surface level and dig deeper into that cosmic ocean that Pisces tends to swim in, and just develop this. It's like a King of Cups energy to develop just a stronger emotional wisdom in yourself. Where I really like when the moon is in Pisces. I feel she does very well in this sign. And considering too that they are Jupiter ruled, there is this level of emotional growth that happens. And then we get into this place where we're able to intuit more sharp. I feel now we're able to take that Mercury and Scorpio, really be intentional and understand the messages that are trying to come through from source. So those are some things I would just kind of pay attention to with the moon in Pisces. Now, let's get into the void of course energy, because that's going to happen on Mars Day, the 15th of October, and that's going to go from about 9:28 a.m. until about 1:34 p.m. So we're looking at about a 4-hour and 6-minute void of course time there. And the aspect that she's going to be forming is a trine with Venus, the final aspect that she forms. And so this can be a great time when we're thinking about the trine energy. The trines are Jupiterian in nature, most beneficial aspect. They promote this new movement. They can bring about this good fortune. Things just tend to just flow better. And what I find with this, Venus is how we're attracted, or is what we attract, and how we magnetize things. And so again, during this period of time, because one thing I like with the void of course is like, or one way I like working with it is kind of like a reflection period, as far as like what came up while the moon was in Pisces, what were some things that I had been attracting, and what are some things that I'm maybe needing to move through while Mercury is even in Scorpio, because now you have a deeper understanding of what's going on. Maybe what conversations do I need to have with other people to kind of process these things, like, hey, I've been feeling like I've been taking on a lot of your stuff, and I needed to put a little bit more distance between that. Have a very healthy conversation about what you're moving through. But the void of course too is really a time where the moon doesn't have a lot of energy to give. So allow yourself some rest in this 4-hour period. If you can take a moment and just, maybe you happen to be at work, just take a moment. If you can just step outside, just maybe do some deep breathing. Maybe just if the sun happens to be out, taking a little bit of sunlight. Or just like maybe just take a lap around. If you're working in an office building, maybe just take a lap around your office, just to kind of stretch your legs, just to kind of get out of just like the rat race of life, and just allow yourself a time to get grounded, to get centered. If you're happy, if you're working from home or happen to be at home this day, this could be great for doing some meditation, even just some sort of practices to help you just get into that flow state as well, whether this be art, whether this be math, this science, crafting, automobiles, whatever you're doing. Those are some ways to work with this energy, but it's also not advisable to start up anything like brand new, because you may feel inspired maybe in that moment, but as soon as the moon moves to Aries, you may end up starting up something and just leaving it behind. So just some things to kind of pay attention to with this energy. But I think that's all I got for you there. So let's go ahead and switch over. And then last few things, if you are wanting to work more intentionally with the lunar cycle, or with your chart, your moon placement, solar returns, whatever that's looking like, Down in the description box below, I have links for all of the different services that I do provide. And I think that's all I got for you there. Yeah, I'm gonna get whatever. But yes, check that stuff out. Oh, and I also have a link for the lunar groups that I'm offering as well. The next one's gonna be for the moon in the new moon cycle in Scorpio. And we work over a 27-month cycle here. We really work and nurture each area of your chart very thoroughly here. So if that's something that you're interested in as well, that link is down in the description box below as well. So enough word salad. Let's go ahead and, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings. So apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And I'm going to ring this bell to bring some good vibes. So adjust your volume if you need to, but I'm going to ring this a few times and then we'll get into this thing. All right. Let's see what your general energy of the day is. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so for your general energy, you have the Lion Spirit card here, which is be generous of spirit. And what I'm getting with this, I feel especially with Mercury having just moved into Scorpio, I'm getting this energy of being generous with the insights and the knowledge that you've gotten of spirit to lead from this higher intentions. So if you're doing things to raise your vibration and just to tap into your highest timeline, your highest vibration, then I feel like it's how can you show up and be generous of that spirit when others may not be on the same track as you. It's not to say that they're not doing the work, but it's just the work may look differently on everyone. And so how do you keep in that space of like bountiful spiritual energy and keep that lion face, that I got stone face that comes in my head, but not so just like cold in a say. It's just like, how do you keep that sense of power, that sense of control in the seas, that when we happen to go out in the wild, because there are a lot of energies that are going on, and where I do feel that there is this collective work that is happening. It is something that's not going to happen overnight. It is something that is a day-to-day thing, and it's how we show up each day is different. And so I feel that when all of us come to this place of not even matching energies, but again, just rising, not needing to dip. Because I feel like, and I've even caught myself sometimes where I have a lot of fire energy in my chart, and there are some times where I'm kind of out and about, and people may think, well, because of this love, this big old smile, that like, oh, like we can pull a fast one, or we can just kind of come any kind of way. It's just like, I've had to watch where I will say like, oh, you thought I was the one today. Okay, bet. But it's just like, no. There's a way to, I have this magnet on my fridge that says to establish dominance by telling someone that you're praying for them. And I find that wonderfully aggressive. But I think that it is kind of approaching this stuff with kindness. And it's not where you're showing this, it's not where you're coming across as weak. It's just like, these lower vibrations that you may be in, or whatever you're going through right now, doesn't affect me. You are kind of looking with this stone face in a sense. It's just like you brought low vibrations, and it's just like, But let me get some tarot on this and get some details with that. Thank you, Spirit. Let's see what's going on here. Ooh, look at all these cups. I'm with it. Oh, all these people, lovely ladies. So you have the Queen of Cups. That's one of our cards, Cancer. You have the Princess of Wands and the Princess of Swords, and then you have the Ace of Cups and the Four of Disc here. So there's this interesting. What I'm getting this Four of Disc. This is a card of power in this deck. There's this really grounded. This formation here is very solid, but I feel it's keeping that those, especially any sort of strong emotions that may come up. It's like, how do you keep that sense of spirit, that sense of stuff grounded when there are, like I said, like maybe some thoughtless energies that are going on around you? Because just because you're doing the work, that doesn't necessarily mean that things aren't going to continue to come to test you. Like all of the stuff just completely vanishes, and it's a matter of, how do I want to put this? There's always, I feel like, growth that's going to be while we're on this journey. That's the whole point of this journey here. But it's just like, how do you maintain the purity of this Ace of Cups while coming from this? Because the Queen of Cups is very understanding. She's a very powerful empath. She is impressionable in this deck to the energies of the cards that are around her. And I feel like it's just like keeping this sense of serene and this sense of calm, and not to let it, when something does try to shake up the waters a little bit, to not lose this sense of spirit, in a way, is what I'm getting with the Princess of Wands here. It's keeping that enthusiasm for this growth and not getting to this place of like, oh well, what's the point? It's just like, well, other people aren't doing the work, so why do I have to continue to do this? And it's because you have the awareness. And I find that when you're working towards higher consciousness, those things tend to come back when we dip into those kind of reactive sort of energies. The consequences seem to come back a lot quicker than may seem with another person, but it's just because they're not aware of what's coming back to them. Things are just accumulating. The waters are just kind of mucking up here. I'm almost getting like a Seven of Cups energy kind of coming through in this deck. But it's giving me this thing. You've built up the spiritual reserves here with the Four of Disc being here, and I feel like it's just like, okay, you may be feeling challenged. Let's tap into that well and do what you can. And maybe this is your work. Maybe happen to be this at your work. Maybe this is in your family. Whatever. Maybe it's in your friends. But I feel even finding time to making sure that you are tending to your well, like where you're being generous of spirit. I'm even getting like a Princess of Cups in this deck, to not overgive, where if something keeps trying to exacerbate or trying to shake up your waters, it's just like, you know what, I don't have to give this any more of my attention. You know what, I'm good on that. That's just something that's kind of coming through. But let me see if let me get a little bit more with that, with the Queen of Cups. Thank you, Spirit. So the Queen of Cups is clarified by the Six of Wands here. And the Six of Wands, I'm thinking in the Rider White deck, how there are people who are there celebrating your work, celebrating these victories that you have. There is, I think, one figure that does have this sort of like jealous look on their face of just like, oh, what makes them think that they're so much better than I am, or something along those lines. And I'm even reading in this book, one of the books that I really have enjoyed, that really kind of changed a lot of perspectives as far as like how I speak and the energies that I put out there in the world. This book by Florence, the Game of Life and How to Play It, and even The Power of the Word. This, like, I got a book that's like a combination. Actually, I'll just show you right here. It's like the complete works of Florence Shinn, and it's really a fantastic read. But I find when we're holding things like anger, like hatred, like all those things, when we give people this sense of power, it's in a way that they've won. But when we establish dominance, like I was saying, and tell people that we're praying for them, and not that we're being, this statement is a little bit aggressive, I think, but killing them with kindness, it does go a long way, because then you're not bothered by them anymore. And I feel like the more you get into that practice, the more that I feel people kind of check themselves as well too, when they see that their tactics are not working. Then it just there's something very empowering about that. And again, it's something that comes with practice, I feel, in that conscious effort that comes through there. And I feel that is going to be very important while we're in this energy, especially with Mercury being in Scorpio. But let me get some more tarot on this. And and it's not to excuse the others' behaviors, but you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what experiences that they've had, what their everyday is looking like, but you don't have to take that on. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, look at that. Here's hubby. So I love that, emotional wisdom. You have the King of Cups here, and you have the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords in this deck, this is a card down here, they talk about a card of cruelty, but the Nine of Swords can be where you're in that mental energy. This is Mars in Gemini, and that can be where, if we're not mindful, that Mars and Gemini can be hot. It'll be, because Gemini energy can be a bit glib, because it's a fast moving energy, that mutable air sign. It'll say some things, it'll put out these things, but all that is doing when we're entertaining that is just, we're putting that stuff on ourselves. What we put out, we get back tenfold. And so I feel this King of Cups here, look at you, Cancer, this crab here represents the power of the ocean. And Cancer is the cardinal water sign. They're the initiators of where the feelings first happen. And I feel with this thing, it's just like learning to, this peacock down here represents the brilliance, the beauty of the ocean. I feel like it's walking in your brilliance, walking in your power. And it's when we have that sense of emotional understanding that we have more control over what we're putting out there. We don't have to keep perpetuating. Just because someone comes trying to muck up, or not muck up, but like tries to whip up a storm or anything along those lines, we don't have to carry that cruelty with them. Look at if anything, we wanted to send blessings to them, because it's just like, that must be tough for you to hear, or for you to carry. I see you have a lot of downloads coming in here, and I wish you higher vibrations. and that can be so freeing. And I take this, and keep in mind too, I say this as someone who I have Mercury in a fixed place, in a fixed fire sign, and in Leo. And I know sometimes where, and it is something that I'm continuously working on, when I feel hot and I feel things that, like, it takes effort to get out of that mindset, to not fuel that thing up. I have to constantly like okay, I gotta send this. Like, okay, what are some ways that I can move through this? Some ways that I can keep doing this, because all it's doing is just keeping the situation has already transpired. Now I'm just entertaining the past, and it's just like, now I need to get back into the present. That situation is done, it's over, and I can be better from it. And I got this teamwork energy that's coming with this King and Queen of Cups here. You in spirit. When you're in this state of consciousness, a state of control, Spirit's got you. And I've even found where there are times when I've been feeling that heat, that Spirit will send different signals. I'll see them in different numbers, at like 12 12, 11 11, 34 34, just like those synchronistic things. Or I remember one day there was a situation where I wasn't necessarily feeling less abundant, but it felt like the abundance was being challenged. And then my word of the day happened to be overabundance. And so spirit, when you pay attention, spirit will let you know, like, listen, you're not, I hear you. Remember your roots. Remember your energy. Remember the power that you have. Stay calm and stay grounded and stay fierce in the when you have this abundance of spirit. And then it's just like the more generous of that as well, it just gets easier to deal with those things. But I'm even getting pulled here to the, she's got a Medusa head, the Princess of Swords, on the top of her helmet here. And I feel like there's no need to turn yourself to stone, to petrify yourself, to wishing other people. I find, and that's something to think about too, interestingly enough. Now that's, I'm getting a message too where if we tell people like they'll never change or that they're always like this or things along those lines, it's in a way it's keeping them in that space. It doesn't give them the opportunity to grow, and they may be doing growth, but it just like, if you're just keep remembering them in that one instance, then that's all that there's going to be. Let's get some advice from Big Papa. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, lovely. Look at this. All right, so you have the Ten of Disc, the Magician card, which is Mercury energy. And then you have the Art card, which is the Temperance card or Sagittarius energy. And let's switch back over. Because I feel with this Ten of Pentacles, you know, I'm even getting this where and I think I've mentioned this when we have people, it's like, oh, you make me feel this way, or you did this to me, or like this person always makes me feel some kind of way. We don't have to give them that energy. We don't have to give them that wealth. No one can affect our abundance if we don't let them. And I feel like it's trying to alchemize this with this Temperance card, this Art card. It's like, how do you turn maybe what cruelty may have someone tried to put on you. But you know, that's why, like, I was actually talking with someone about this. They were saying like, oh, I feel like I've been, like I've been under a curse or something like that. And it's like, I don't believe in curses. If someone is cursing you, that's for them to hold. But no one can curse you if you don't give it that energy. Nothing, no one can affect your abundance. No one can do these things. The power is within you. You have all the tools. I'm thinking in the deck that I used previously, the Hoodoo deck, the Magician has this wand that just says power on it. And with Mercury, that's how you communicate that you think. You have power over your thoughts. No one else does. It's only when we let those energies invade our space that they're quote unquote winning. But when we do that active work, when we're generous of spirit and the work that you've put in, then all you have is just abundance. And let people think what they want to think. That's for them. I can't tell you what to think, nor do I want to. That's your work to do, and I have my work to do. We have our work to do. So yeah, I feel like it's just being with that Magician too, to the Temperance. Be mindful of what you're creating. Your words are very powerful, and they can affect your livelihood for the best or for not. But just know that if it has been in a lower place, that it doesn't have to stay there. It's just when we raise that awareness, then we just there's just more control again that we have here. But I think I'm going to leave that there. So just something to meditate on. But if you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know someone who would benefit from this. And then subscribe there, King, Queen of Cups. Hit that bell button to get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little thing, if you want to know what's going on with the Celestial Chit Chat, like I was saying, come over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos there covering what's going on in the cosmos, how we can set intentions with those energies. And also, too, I've been doing these videos of different planets in different signs and different houses. And they've just been very kind of general videos, just some kind of short form content there, just kind of give you an idea of what to, maybe some things to think about with that energy. So definitely check those out. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card or cards here so I can get you out of here. Thanks, Spirit. Oh, I love it. Absolutely. That's very Ace of Cups. So you have the unconditional divine love card here. And what I love about this is that Spirit loves all of its creations. And there's a lot going on in this world. There are a lot of things that may be challenging to send love towards. You may whatever this looks like. Maybe we have beef with parents, friends, business partners, the world, but all that does is it fills that well with just that anger and that cruelty. All it does is just perpetuate the problem, and then that source wins. And I don't even think really it's just about winning. I think it's just more so, it's just like, how can we love like Spirit loves? Because we are every living being, every object that is created has source in it. And I feel it's like, how do we come with that unconditional love, that understanding that it's like I'm even getting just like this thing that because I'm kind of getting drawn back to like that stone face of this lion spirit. It's just like, how do you not get bothered when the energies are like when it seems like energies are throwing a tantrum, or when it seems like, that thing of like, well, again, why do I need to give out all this love when others aren't? Because when you keep giving out that love, then that's what you're going to keep attracting. That's what you're going to keep building in your world. And then that keeps growing, and then it starts to just like, it begins this ripple effect. When we stop feeding into this negative things, it just like, the energies change. And I feel like it's not we're divine beings going through a human experience, but that's what this is. This is an experience. And I feel like there are things that you're meant to focus on, and don't worry about what other people's things are doing. Like that's I have faith that makes sense, because it is getting into a broader thing here. And it's not that we're allowing people to just like cross our boundaries. Like, I can love someone and not be a part of their life. You know what I mean? I can still wish them growth in things, even if they've done something to me. Because what they've done, that thing they've done, maybe not have been in a state of love, but it taught me that, oh, I don't want to be in this energy, and that shows me that I love myself more because I chose not to be in that anymore. So that's all I got for you. So some things some bigger things I feel to kind of meditate on there. But until next time, keep raising that consciousness. Keep eyes on the moon. And I will catch you on the next one, Mars Day.